Hi, everyone. Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy. Camera's in a weird spot. How are you all? Good morning. Happy Saturday to everyone. Let's see who's here. Hi, Diane and Pam. Welcome to Left Undone. We'll just get, hi, Amber E. Hello, how are you? Good morning, good morning. Good morning in my world. I don't know, other people might be afternoon or something by now, right? Let me get this music off and we can get started. All right, here we go. Hi, the grandparents. How are you, my friend? So welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. If you're new here, my name is Kathy. I have been, this channel is about almost 6 years old. I started it in the end of 2019 and latched on to the Lori Vallow Daybell case in January of 2020 and been on it ever since. So we know all the history and more here. I also have a podcast. It's called Afterglow, Unveiling the Idaho Cult, where it does a really super duper deep dive in the best chronological order that I could come up with, from all the way back to Lori's beginnings as a young girl to all the way to her serial killerness. So still working on that. Episodes will continue to come out as I can get them out. Right now they're on pause just because of the trial. So, because I've been trying to focus on the trial and have a live stream here as much as possible now during this trial. Hi, Audrey Rager. Hi, Audrey. Yes, the first channel, I do have witnesses that will tell you this. I was the first channel to start following this case. And then eventually, doctors and lawyers started following it and got billions of subscribers. So, sorry, I have an itchy throat this morning. So anyway, so we are at the final weekend before Lori gets her new sentence. Obviously, I am personally sure she's going to be found guilty in this trial. If you don't know about Lori Vallow Daybell, the first place to go is either all the way back to my early stuff from 2020 or go to Afterglow and listen to it on any podcast platform. So again, my name's Kathy. I'm a registered nurse, a hospice nurse, case manager. I do home visits to hospice patients, and I have 4 grown children. And I was a former flight attendant, but I've been a nurse for 23 years, and I have 2 grandchildren, and I live in California. So let's get started. I was thinking about this and this trial, and like kind of put together some food for thought when it comes to Lori and all this stuff. So my one question that has come up in my head, what is your take? Don't want to start coffee. What is your take on Lori Vallow Daybell calling Charles my husband through the entire trial? Given the extensive Ned testimony, remember, he's not Charles anymore. He's Ned. We got to get rid of him. We got to free Charles. We got to get him out of Charles's body. Ned, Nate, Iplos, whatever. Do you think it was her strategical move to start calling her my husband? Do you think it was some kind of weird psychological shift or something else? What do you think? Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. Good to see you. Let's see what you guys have to say on that. It's a narcissistic move, very possessive. That's kind of where I'm leaning. My husband, my house, my children. Yes, me, my, all about me. Do you think she ever truly believed that Charles was Ned, Nate, Iplos? Michelle, remember the H is silent. I think you were the one that told me that when you saw it in the writing thing. It was like hilarious. Absolutely just manipulation. Oh, because they weren't supposed to divorce per Chad's teachings, of course. But do you think Lori all of a sudden never believed that he was Ned Schneider? Or do you think Lori is just doing this to try to be on good with, like, poor me, my husband? They're accusing me of killing my husband. Of course I went and got married later because my husband, Charles, was dead, right? Just curious to see what you guys think. But yeah, I do agree. She's very narcissistic and very manipulative. And I think you do not believe that she believed that Charles was actually Nate. Do you think she was trying to convince Alex that Charles was Nate to get rid of him? Because Alex was pretty gullible in all of the Lori shenanigans, right? So that one is the one just bugging me. And I wish that the prosecution, hopefully they'll bring it up in closing arguments better. I was hoping they would really focus on that somehow. Like, well, did she, to whoever, didn't she tell you that Charles was gone? That Charles has been possessed by Net Iplos, whatever. Like you don't know, she's named him a bunch of different things, and then they got rid of one, and then the other one came in and took over. I think the final one was Ned, or was it Iplos, or was it somebody else? I don't know. Alex loved Lori. They had a very messed up relationship. Yeah, very messed up. And I think Alex is missing something up here a little bit. Joe Schmo, hello. Good to see you. The nexus between her actual wacko cult beliefs and her manipulative behaviors is a mystery. I believe she believes that she got the priesthood from Moroni, Jason Mao, in the temple. That makes really good sense. Very good sense, because they were so hyper-focused on this whole thing that this was this huge calling for them, and they were super important. And, even in her podcast, I remember listening to Jason Mao telling her that you're a gatherer. You're a gatherer. You are a goddess gatherer. You have a calling, blah, 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 blah. Right. So good point. He had a brain injury. I don't call what happened to you. No. What did happen? There was something that happened to him at one point, or so they say. I don't know if we ever had any real proof of that. Now, my next question to all of you, were you surprised that Lori rested her case without calling any witnesses or testifying? What do you think motivated her to do that? Oh, Summer mentioned it. Okay, got it. Traumatic brain injury. I think I do remember hearing that. Yes, that was it. And you're right, Michelle. I think it was Summer had brought it up that Alex had some terrible accident at some point. That's it. Thank you. Look how smart all you guys are. So helpful to my brain that's starting to lose things as the years go by, right? So hard to keep up with these people. So what do you think now about the fact that she rested and she's not going to, the evidence will show, what did she say, that 60, 70 times the evidence will show, and then she presents zero, zilch, nothing as far as evidence goes? What did the evidence show? Is she going to come and do her closing arguments and be like, remember, the evidence showed? What evidence, Lori? You didn't put on a case. Lord. And she was pissed in Idaho. She was mad, remember, that her attorneys didn't let her testify, or she could have, but kind of talked her out of it, or didn't put on any defense up there either. She had that little temper tantrum up there at the end. I was there at the end of her trial in Idaho, so it was crazy. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know how much that is helpful to me. Thank you very, very much. Thanks so much. So she didn't have any witnesses left to call. Judge Boreski said, I think you're out of time. Correct that. You are out of time. He did say that. And I think maybe when he was saying, are you sure you're done? He was maybe thinking more towards like, remember, you still have the opportunity. You can testify yourself. And I honestly thought she was going to testify herself. I thought she was going to get up there and testify and screw it all up, but to testify. So I was kind of surprised. But as the experts were saying that I was watching, that opens all kinds of doors. The jury could wind up hearing that about the kids and that she murdered. And the fact that that was after Charles's murder, basically they have to be really careful because it shouldn't come into play with people finding her guilty for Charles's conspiracy, even though she's got 3 life sentences in Idaho. That's what I'm going to say. I think she's, oops. Okay, let me see that. I'm surprised maybe no one wanted to be put on the stand by her, even her father, right? I felt bad for Adam's son, Zach. He lived with her and was upset with her investigator. I'm happy she had no defense. Oh, yeah. And poor Zach, she was trying to drag him in there so he could say things that is opposite of his father. I mean, Lori is going to cause crap no matter what. I think she's kind of too scared of Trina Kay to testify. Too many doors that could be opened. And Trina Kay is very good. Very good. And I think Lori knows it, And Trina Kay has got like, objection again, Your Honor. Like, listen to this lady still doing what we just told her not to do. Sustained. Judge Horeski, he's so like even. I can't believe it. I do hear him huff a little bit as well, like a deep breath, like, or somebody is. I thought it was him. Kay did excellent. Kay did very good. And Lori was she was the least person that Lori went toe to toe with. Like Lori was very mild with Kay compared to like what she was saying to the detectives. Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do the luminol on the bat? Why didn't you follow up with that? So, she was shaking. I heard that too. Crazy. When Kay was being questioned by Trina Kay, that's when Lori was shaking, right? Like she knew her turn was coming. She had to get up there. And there is no way she could say no. That would make her look like a big chicken. So, okay. The whole thing is they need to prove conspiracy, that there was an actual plan, like a plan in place, agreement, plan, conspiracy to kill Charles / Ned, but apparently Charles. What do you think was their best evidence as far as that goes? Day 1, Judge B was holding his forehead with his fingertips, dealing with her. He is now my patron saint of patience. Oh my gosh, I could never be as patient as he is. Hi, Stacy. How are you? Mama D, how's it going? Yeah, he's so patient for a judge. Oh my God. For anybody. Like if he was my dad, I'd be a little scared because he's so patient, and probably if not, he's probably my age, so whatever. But just as a dad figure, if he was up there, if you got in trouble, I'd kind of be scary because he's so like this, like, oh crap, what's coming? I don't know if he's mad or, there you go. Oh, look, you changed clothes. Let's see. I have more questions. The judge has a best poker face. He really does. He has a very good poker face. Excellent. He's a good judge. I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed with him. And I mean, but we do want to buy him a drink, right? Like, what does he drink? Anybody know after this is over? Now, so what do you think the best evidence is that she can, like, the conspiracy? I personally think the best evidence was the fact that she had those text messages saying that was all coming to a head, and that there was like definitely some plans to say that, Alex had to come and stay close to her because it was all coming down. I think that was really, and then literally Charles is shot. So I think that was probably one of the best. It's all circumstantial, but it's still, I think that's probably a big key evidence that you could tell there was an actual plan in place. Moving party. Oh, you're moving, Stace? Excellent judge. Adam and Kay's testimonies, the timeline events, and the text. Yeah. And Adam and Kay, especially Adam texting, or here's like, uh-oh, Alex is here. And then Alex not answering Adam after telling him he could stay there. And then he's like, why isn't my brother answering me? And then Charles pulls up and he says, Adam's here. And then they say they're up to something. So pretty clear. Yes, and especially being like Nephi. Yeah. So I don't think the jury's going to deliberate very long. What do you think? You think it's going to be a long time? I keep asking this. I asked this last night in our members only live. We did a happy hour last night, and I really think it's going to be quick. Joe Schmo, it's all coming to a head was about the intervention, though, not necessarily about a plan to unalive Charles. Same with Moroni. I thought she did a decent job of crossing Duncan about that. And she also mentioned that, do you know my brother? Did you know he was a comedian? Do you know he jokes on things? She was trying to throw some reasonable doubt that this could just be another conversation. Nephi. Got it. Yeah. Oh, you're helping family move? Okay. I think verdict's going to come down fast too. Adam says he doesn't understand the brainwashing at all. I don't understand brainwashing. I feel like I know myself pretty well, and that nobody could ever convince me otherwise of my beliefs to change it or to start making me think that I was some crazy goddess or something. It's just weird that people's minds can be that weak. Okay, it's hot in my house. I got to cool it off. Where's my AC? Turn on. This room gets super hot. It's the front of my house, and it gets hot because it has all three front sides are to the outward, to the desert, to the outworld, out of the world, out in the heat. Okay. Okay, and the jury, do you think they're going to take into account any of these bizarre beliefs now that they've heard about them? Lori did downplay the beliefs quite a bit. Again, not talking about, Charles being Ned, like just kind of ignoring that whole thing, right? I watched a YouTube and they said Lori is smart and they will say a lot to, she knew what she was doing. Yes. I believe that Lori is smart. She's not a smart criminal, but she's smart and manipulative, and she can appear as if she's kind of and she knows how to go. She knows how to poke people. She knows really well how to like fight and try to get her point across and say things to make the other person question themselves. So she's smart like that, like a narcissist smart, right? You want to see a weak mind, watch Melanie Gibbs' interview with Chandler PD. I believed it, but not 100%. Oh my God. I used to, okay, in the beginning when I was starting my channel and there wasn't any other channels really following, I got a lot of emails and I talked to a lot of Melanie Gibbs' friends. They were doing a lot of damage control with Melanie Gibb. And basically, really pumping up the fact that she was the star witness. And I talked on the phone to some of these people and stuff. And they kind of had me convinced initially, because you can go back and look and people were like, wow, you're a Melanie Gibb lover. But I was like, but she's such a good witness. Like that phone call that for the kids, that phone call that she made and recorded when her and Lori went toe to toe in it. And she said, I talked to Al and he said, I don't want to know where the kids are, stuff like that. So, but yeah, Melanie Gibb, she went like a puppy dog with her tail between her legs and decided to say whatever she had to say to not be involved. I believed it, but not really, yeah. Okay. You were in the podcast with her. You introduced her. Like she was 100% in this belief system. Oh, and her friend told me that at one point early on around that time, they went to a funeral. And she told me this on the phone. She would talk about, I should dig up some of these old emails. And she said they went to a funeral and she was sitting by Melanie and they were talking, like afterwards, we're eating and talking to people. And Melanie goes, feel my forehead, feel me, feel how hot I am. I'm being translated. And her friend was like, what? And she was like distracted and talking to other people and stuff. And she's like, well, she told me then, she goes, I really wish I would have spent more time questioning her about this, what she was talking about being translated. Why was she thinking she was translated? Several lawyers said she did very well with the last day. They said if she went to school, she could be a decent lawyer. Now, Mel, Gibb, and Zuzu, not so much. Yeah, I mean, if Lori would have led a normal life and not thought she was the goddess of goddesses, she probably could. She has that intimidation factor. She's quick with it. Like, she can come up questions quickly. Obviously, she could probably be one if she wasn't a murderer. She should have changed. She should have, instead of going to cosmetology school, she went to law school and just lived happily ever after as a smart attorney. That would have been a great calling for her. Kathy, why do you think there was no Zulema in this child? She had use immunity in Idaho, but there are a lot of Texan gatherings with Zuzu there. I know. Does she have any kind of immunity in Illinois? I mean, in Illinois. Where did I come up with Illinois? Is there something we don't know? And what about Melanie P? And is Melanie P not going to be called for Brandon's? Is she have some kind of immunity? I have a lot of questions about these people with their immunities and why somebody's not at this. It's very weird to me. And Zulema was caught twice up in Idaho with her use immunity. I could have been the next one. Her darn stupid. Most lawyers believe they get translated through law school and their state bar. Lori didn't want to go tell that trouble. Right? Lori's like, no. I'm just going to be translated through, the powers that be up above. And Chad told me. Chad's going to translate me. Hi, Bella Italian. How are you? Look, it's nice to see all you guys here on Saturday. I'm trying to get my Saturdays back up together. I mean, would I take like a year off or more? So it is nice to have you here. I do want to start following the Karen Reed case too after this. What's this whole thing in between the next case with Brandon? But somebody mentioned last night in our members only live that it's possible that once Lori's convicted of Charles, that they may not go forward with Brandon's case. Does anybody know anything about that? Who told me that? Was that you, Carolina? Who told me that? They should. Exactly. They should. She feels her next part of her life is helping the innocent in jail. So Lori, oh my God. I teach them exercise classes, and these women, the food is terrible. It's slop every day. The conditions are awful. And these women are innocent, and they're in jail for 8, 10, 20 years. She exaggerates everything, clearly, right? So she says like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Nate or Justin, maybe? Yeah, I halfway, or I should say a quarter way, followed the Karen Reed case. And I remember them, having a hung jury. And so I thought this time, now that it's coming back around, I want to follow it a little more carefully. I really want to see the opening arguments or statements. Brandon does need his justice too. So I would be really bummed if they didn't go forward with that case for some reason. Beach Bum, you're waiting for your honorary law degree in the mail. I want one too. Can I have one? How much? How much can I start a GoFundMe for mine? Let's see. Brandon did get that big settlement, which I'm happy about. He did? What was the settlement from? Why do I not know this? I don't know that. I heard a rumor about a deal for Brandon's trial. I'm going to feel conflicted about that since I already have my Airbnb booked for Brandon's trial, but I wouldn't hate to see it go away. Oh, so you're going. Good. You went to this one too, right? I wanted to go so bad. And it's not even that far from my house. I live in California, but I live right before you start heading to Blythe, like into Arizona. So it was literally for less than 4 hours for me to get to that courthouse from my house. And, and I went to Idaho, but I have my mom that lives with me and her dementia is really bad. So, and my job, and I'm saving my PTO to go to Greece because I'm going to go for 2 weeks in August. So it's like, so anyway, I didn't get to go. And I was even thinking, even if I just go for a day, like it would be cool if I went Monday just to see the closing arguments and stuff, but I have to work. My caseload's just really high. My caseload is too high. And then if I take a day off, it falls on my other coworkers, which we hate that. So anyway. No, it wasn't you. Okay. I said the opposite, that the state will not allow Brandon's case to withdraw. Someone said last night that he may want to drop charges. That's not, but the charges don't come from him, right? I mean, at this point, it's like anything, a domestic violence case, right? The charges come from the state. It's not civil. It's not Brandon against Lori. It's now the state of Arizona against Lori, because like it's the same thing like domestic violence cases. If the woman's all of a sudden like, never mind, I just love him again. I just want to be with him. After he like beat the crap out of her and broke her in half, and then they go back. It's very common. So it's not really the woman anymore. Unless she like initially they get all that information, unless she doesn't zips up from the beginning, but still. Yeah. Lori Richard's case is set back a while, wasn't it? Yes, we checked on that. It's indefinitely set back right now. I looked that up last night. So it's indefinitely set back. We don't know when it's going to come about. On March 31st, 2020, Brandon Boudreaux filed a lawsuit alleging defamation. That suit was just settled for $12 million. Nice. Very good. Great. I'm glad. Good job. He's got a lot of kids and he seems like such a nice guy. Like Melanie Pulowski. I mean, I still wonder if Ian and that's just also weird to me. They knew each other for 5 minutes. They were basically picked from Lori, and I don't believe anything that Melanie P says about the way she met Ian. I believe it was all part of Chad and Lori's doing somehow. Yes, the state has the first and final word. Yep. Arizona is doing penance for his bygone blunders. They really did mess it up. I'm really sad about that in the beginning. They should have arrested Alex and Lori right from the bat and did some better investigating that day. She said, hold on, I'm reading your. She said, wait a minute. Hold on. This one I was reading. They said if she was found guilty in the Brandon case, it would do nothing for her on top of all the life sentences. Brandon was in the court one day. Lolo objected. The judge denied the objection. He's a good-looking young man, so I'm also lucky that Alex is so incompetent and missed that shot. Yes. He missed a lot of shots. He missed the one on Tammy. Alex, Mr. I'm such a good shotman. Too bad he didn't miss Charles, too, even though he was right in front of him. Yeah. Brandon, so lucky. So lucky. When you listen to his 911 call and then watch the video that day, I was like, oh, man, he was lucky. Got a guardian angel there or something. It is probably that Lori believes anything that advances her reality. Example being the jailed woman telling her of their innocence and extended jail time. She's both gullible and delusional and manipulative and narcissistic. And meant Corey Richins, not Lori. Lori was on my mind. Oh, yeah. Corey Richins' case has been on hold. Excuse me. Very sad back then. I can't imagine being in the shoes of family members when Charles was shot and then nothing happened. Like, and Lori and her are like, why didn't you call and tell his kids? Like, and they didn't even bring up all the lies she told, did they? Or did I miss it? Remember she was telling people he had a heart attack? She told Colby that. She told more than a few people that he died of a heart attack, and then come to find out he was shot. That didn't come up. That was a big Lori lie. That didn't come up, did it? I guess it's hearsay. I don't know. But that is really weird how she flat out said to people it was a heart attack. And he does deserve a day in court for sure, Funda Cruz. For sure. Let's see. My other questions. So are her bizarre beliefs that she decided are her new religious beliefs, that, you know, the whole thing, what she was doing this for, what her cause was, what Chad's religious, I think Chad's full of baloney. I think he just wanted Lori, and he knew he could convince her that she was just this amazing goddess, and she was like, "Ooh, me? Okay." So, but do you think that the beliefs are motive for her shooting Charles, justification, or distraction? Like, her religious beliefs and then the way she's defending this case are so different to me than everything we've heard. Just like when she was sentenced in the kids' trial, and she sat up and said, nobody was murdered. Some people die of accidental overdoses. You know, like blah, blah, blah things happen. Nobody was murdered here. You guys are all stupid. And she sounded super delusional. But here, she didn't sound so delusional at all. She sounded like she just, and you people are stupid. I didn't conspire to kill my husband, Charles. And you guys did a crappy job at your investigation. So I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Ruby. Melanie P. drank the Kool-Aid. By the time Chad's trial came along, she was deprogrammed. I expect the state to call her as a witness in the Brandon Boudreaux trial. That's what I'm hoping. I think she should be called. But how involved was she in that? I feel like she knew that it was going to go down. I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind. Chad was no looker. Chad is I'm sorry, you know, he is just, and he's not even good looking on the inside. You know how some people aren't physically that great looking, but they're such kind people that they are just amazingly good looking. Does that make sense? Lori is getting uglier because we know what she is on the inside, and Chad is just ugly out and in. Chad Daybell. Oh, what's your name? Chad Daybell. Still cracks me up that he went along with that same call him funeral home. And oh wait, shoot, I shouldn't use my real name, should I? Lori was the ringleader of all the deaths or attempts of harming others. Look how many people have passed away in her circle. Family. Who knows who else she could have harmed? A serial killer, for sure. For sure. Yeah. She is the common denominator in the whole darn thing, isn't she? And, you know, knowing that she is serving life without parole in Idaho, do you really feel that this was a really important trial to have anyway? Do you feel like it was very important to do this to get justice for Charles? What do you guys think about that? Chad was a horn dog, coming at multiple women that attended these PAP conferences. My interview with Janelle Murphy confirmed that, but they were all sleeping around. Ugh. Really? They were all sleeping around. I believe it all. I believe it all. I believe it all. Yeah. Bye, Michelle. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks so much for the super sticker chat right here. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see what you guys get to say. That's right, Carolina. Joe Schmo, that was The only time we heard it was an accident, I think the jury got the whole enchilada. No pun intended. Yes, very important for Charles' family to get justice. I completely agree. Carolina agrees. I felt that the state's case was lacking, unfortunately, but I think it was important to get justice for Charles. Yeah. And, Lori's her own worst enemy. If Lori, the things that Lori put out there that were able to be traced, like text messages and plans and all this stuff, and her little leaving convincing how this was just one of the stupidest parts that she did if she wanted to be found not guilty of this is the chili cheese chicken, the green chili enchiladas. She was so offended about Adam not remembering those stupid enchiladas. It cracked me up because I listened to Colby, and Colby was like, those enchiladas were not that good. They were just enchiladas with green sauce on them. He's like, Kelsey and I cook enchiladas and ours are better than hers. And it was like, what is happening, Lori? You don't remember my G? Like, she was so offended. It was such an important thing for her to be pissed at Adam for not remembering her green chili enchiladas. She's so stupid. Like, sometimes that just shows how narcissistic. Like, everybody's supposed to know everything wonderful I've ever done, every great thing I've ever done, that I cooked these amazing enchiladas. Everybody raved over them. Yes, he said she used canned chicken. I heard that. So her green chili chicken enchiladas made with canned chicken. Okay, we could probably whip that up in about 30 seconds right now. I have some tortillas. I have some green chili. I have some canned chicken. Probably maybe chop up an onion, throw some cheese on top, pour that green sauce on, throw it in the oven, and we're done. Easy peasy, Lori. It's not like you went to some big major culinary school to learn how to make these random enchiladas. Green chili chicken enchilada play was a tactic to emotionally manipulate Adam. Huge flop, big flop. Make it for the cats. Those first two husbands are lucky to be alive, but they can't find Colby's dad, so who knows? They can't find him? Because Colby has a picture that he took when he found his brother, remember? It was like 3 or 4 years ago, Colby met his dad's son, and they look a lot alike. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? Green sauce from the can, sure, of course, yeah. Not from the fresh garden and cut your own green chilies out of your garden. Fresh guacamole and chips on the side. Now that is good. They probably raved because she never cooked. She never made anything. Yeah, he said she never really cooked. If I made those enchiladas, the green chili salsa would definitely include roasted tomatillos. Just saying. Yeah. She's such a loon. It was a big flop, though. You don't remember? Really? Really? You don't remember my enchiladas? Like, my heart breaks for Colby. I know. He's trying so hard. Support his show, you guys, because, he has no family. Lori destroyed his entire family. And he's trying to raise his own family. So I wish him the best. I hope he does really well. Canned chicken isn't the same as fresh chicken. I heard she also used cream cheese in her enchiladas. That's interesting. It's funny, though. Okay, what else did I write down that I wanted to talk about? Okay, so once this is wrapped up, we know she's going to go back to where she wants to go. No matter what, she's going to go. What about Nancy Jo? I want to go back to Nancy Jo Hancock. not just that she had the date. Let's see. Colby got some good healing with this trial. As long as we get a guilty verdict, lots of other family members will too. Kresha, Kay, Megan. Yeah, Megan. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'm glad. I honestly think it's going to be quick. I think the jury's going to go in there and be like, "What do you think?" Oh, yeah, guilty, 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 guilty. Okay, let's go. I don't think they're going to have much to deliberate on. I'm glad they're getting closure though. And and definitely Charles deserved this justice, right? Now, I think it's really interesting that Charles, it was almost like divine intervention that Charles actually talked about the life insurance change with the first time he met Nancy Jo in person on the date. I think it's like, whoa, that was amazing that conversation came up. And the fact that Charles told her about Lori's affair. Like, when you meet somebody for the first time, first date, you're not normally going to go into all your family crap, right? So I thought it was really interesting that he felt comfortable enough to just start telling her all this stuff. That is important because it also shows motive, right? Because Charles is saying, I switched insurance. My wife's been threatening to kill me. She's having an affair with this ugly guy up in Idaho. She's lost her mind. And of course, Adam's text, they're planning something just minutes before the shooting. I mean, all that brings everything really together really well, in my opinion. You guys are still on the chicken. If I like my chicken salad, I don't really like to make it with canned chicken. I like to make it with fresh chicken. But tuna, you're right. Tuna, I make tuna salad all the time with regular canned tuna. It's different. So that to me is very important, foreknowledge and potential conspiracy. Just all those little details. I also put down. Okay. So yeah, I was looking something up and it just basically says, the Arizona conspiracy law, it removes the requirement for the prosecution to prove an overt act in a murder conspiracy case. So this makes proving the agreement and intent the absolute central background. So that all relies heavily on interpreting communications and actions. So all this stuff, those communications are huge. The actions are huge. Those text messages, the conversations, like what was in the background going on. So her conviction, it's just, you put all that stuff together. All that stuff together makes me think that the jury is going to be just fine saying that she's guilty. And Alex warning texts and the Nephi texts, the friends saying Ned, they all match the Nancy Hancock story too. So I think it's all going to come together and that the jury's not stupid and they're going to put all those pieces together. I think it's definitely reasonable doubt is not going to be an issue. They are going to believe that she did this. Kathy has the best in-depth podcast about the entire Vallow Daybell's series of criminally Afterglow is amazing. Thank you, Trishy. I do appreciate that. I do. I really do. Afterglow, I love doing it. I just, the time, of course, is one thing, but I'm going to keep going with it. I mean, there's so much more. I'm not even up to modern day at all on it. So, but it is a very deep dive. So if you want to know things like, people listen to it all the time and they're like, I never heard that. Like, where did that come from? So there's a lot of stuff in there. I did a really deep dive on it. I might even have to listen to it again because I've been doing it for so long that there's stuff I'm forgetting. I think Charles needed someone to confide in. I got the impression they talked on the phone for a while. Burn, get over yourself. Oh no, she's like, okay, so you met my husband on the phone on this day, and then you met him in person this day. So what? You only knew him a week? She was acting like such a jealous woman in that cross examination. I was like, oh my gosh, Lori's got her butt burnt on this one. Charles begged the police twice. I feel they should have played those body cams of Charles in fear of his life. I know. Why didn't they? Why weren't those allowed in? They played Charles talking to life insurance company. Why not the body cam? Maybe closing. Maybe they can bring those, but they're not. Well, maybe they weren't allowed to be used as evidence, but you can do things like that in closing, right? Right? I don't know. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I thought like some of those police officers, when he was telling them, my wife's gone insane. She's calling me Ned, Nate, Nick, whatever. And Ned. And they're like, I don't know. I'm not LDS. I don't know what that means. And then the one woman police officer, when they were in front of the hotel, she's like, okay, whatever. She can be married to Moroni, but still not as weird as the UFO thing. So they must have had some crazy person thinking they saw a UFO. I don't know. Chicken enchiladas should have grilled chicken thighs cooked until fork tender and shredded pulled. Yes, perfect. That because the thighs are the juicier part. So, and the canned chicken is usually white meat and it's pretty dry. So they can't be that great of enchiladas. That's the bottom line, Lori. Lori's enchiladas cannot be that great. They're clearly not memorable to Adam. Oh, Shirley, thank you very much. I do appreciate that for my favorite treat fund. All right. Thank you. Lunch money when I'm driving around in the heat at work, right? Thank you so much. Let's see. Not talking to you, Siri. Why are you saying, okay. Lori's control taxes. She's done. You are right. So Reartech said that. Yeah, I you're right. I don't understand why they didn't play those. I really don't. Because I think they would shown a lot. Like she's been planning this for a while. She told him flat out that he's Ned and he's going to be killed. Let's see. Sorry, one of the reasons I love doing live streams is because my favorite part is to interact with you guys and talk to you. So, if I don't talk to you, I feel like I could just do a recording, right? So I pop over here to look at the comments that I'm missing because I feel like I'm not in the loop sometimes. So I just want to go back and look and see what you guys have said. Hearsay rule. Okay. But still, man. Annie has been brutal about Kay and Colby. I'm just so sad about that. I mean, I don't understand why they have to attack each other. They're all suffered the same loss. And it just bothers me because they're all victims in this thing and they all suffered loss. But I don't like the fact that, I don't know. It's just so sad. It's just sad to me. Yes, we do have a Discord. Everybody's welcome. Yep. That lawyer, Nate, had said the body cam that Charles was on is hearsay because Charles is dead. Colby and Kelsey had some issue at one point, and Colby did get arrested. I don't know, I think all charges were dropped. And I think it was just a terribly sad situation, and they were having problems at the time. And I kind of think like, Colby, they had a new baby, and I don't know, she could have been having some postpartum depression, and he could have been stressed and frustrated, and we don't know really what happened. But it's sad. But thankfully, the charges were dropped, and Colby's trying to heal, and he has his little family, and they have another baby now. Thank you, Funda Cruz. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You've been here since the beginning with me, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super. Is it a super chat? Yeah, I was like a super sticker, super chat, super chat. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. You have no idea how much it's appreciated right now. Let's see. I was going to. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hearsay is reporting what someone else said, but a video is evidence, not reporting. Yeah, so I don't. This confuses me. I mean, Lori didn't know what hearsay was at all, but I always think. And the judge kept saying any conversations outside of court is hearsay, but something on an actual video camera, how can that be hearsay? Somebody explain. Now we focus on the jury and the verdict. I say 2 hours and a verdict comes in. Oh, good. They're going to be there. Yeah, I say literally, in my opinion, it's going to be very, very quick. I would say 30 minutes to an hour. That's my bet. Maybe they'll take a little bit longer because they may want to discuss a little bit. But in my opinion, if I was on that jury, I'd be like, okay, let's vote. Let's go. I'd have a hard time believing anybody would question it. Although, who knows? You never know. You never know. The whole trial's a sham. It's filling Lori's gaslighting tank. It's her last hurrah of narcissistic supply outside of prison. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Think about it. Like, if you were sentenced to life in prison and you got charges somewhere else and it got you out of jail every day, maybe you would. And you are Lori. Why not? Yeah, I'll spend some time on this. Gives her something to do, gives her some limelight, fills her narcissistic whatever up, tank up. I don't think Sylvia, I don't think she's attacking. I just the same thing. I just think it's, it's just sad. It's just sad, and it was between them, and it's sad that it made anything public, made any kind of but it did. It got out there in the public, and so but I'm glad they're living happily ever after and raising their family. The hearsay is silly. Lori's turned into disrespectful sham. Yes, she is just a BI up there, acting like she's the cat's meow, the queen of lawyers, lawyer Lori. I know everything. I really was surprised how hard she went at the one detective. It was the last person on the stand. Who was it? Was it Duncan? Detective Duncan? She was really blasting him. And some of it was okay they're right. They did a crappy job. She gets out. She gets her dressed up and is heard by a lot of people. Yeah, she gets to. So she's going to rest her case. She's not going to present any witnesses or testify, especially after the judge ruled that the state had presented sufficient evidence for the jury for jury consideration. She wanted to get. He denied the Rule 20 motion that Lori threw out there, saying that they didn't prove their case, and he is pretty. Obviously, doesn't mean that they proved she was guilty, but they proved that it is enough for the jury to deliberate on. So, I think that was just Lori. They did that up in Idaho. I just think it's the way Lori was going to be the same, do the same thing with the Rule 20. And I think it's a pretty common thing to do, right? And what else did I write? Okay. Prosecution argued that zombies requiring destruction, castings leading to death, Nephi justifying violence, they were used as tools to dehumanize Charles Vallow and provide a perceived justification for his murder. That's what they did. That's what Lori and her gang of people, or Lori and Chad, decided. Like, this is all justified because he's, we're going to be like Nephi, and we're going to do these castings, and it didn't work. And oh my gosh, we didn't get rid of him. We tried without killing him. We tried to just do these castings to get him out, but didn't work. So we had to actually kill him, and then, he's a zombie. He's possessed. He's this, he's that. But I'm sure the jury had never heard anything like this before. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. Reasons for the video be called hearsay. Thank you, Trishy. I appreciate this. Out of court statement. If the video captures the deceased person making a statement, it was made outside of the courtroom. Okay, because what he's saying is hearsay. He's saying my wife told me that I'm Ned and that she wants to kill me. That's all the hearsay. That's not evidence. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Got it. That makes sense. And then you said offered for truth. If the video is presented to prove the statement's content is true, prove X did Y, it fits the hearsay definition. Okay, no, it makes more sense to me now, thinking about it that way, because basically him saying that she said, that's all hearsay, and it happened outside. Lack of cross-examination. Since the person is deceased, they cannot be questioned to verify the statement's reliability, context, or accuracy, which is core concern with hearsay. Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You explained that to me. It makes sense now. Which Nephi, you know there are four? LOL. That's what she said. Do you know who Nephi is? You know there are four. La, 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 la. She was like, was it Christina? Which one was it? No, it was what's her face? All her little friends blur together in my head. She said, we're going to be like Nephi, but she asked Detective Duncan, do you know that when I referenced Nephi in my text, I was referring to killing Detective Duncan? No. Okay. So yeah, he didn't know that, but it can be inferred, but can you go by that? Right? Shirley, thank you. You guys, she gave you some memberships. Appreciate that. Join us on Friday for happy hour. We do Friday happy hour with members. Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was really helpful, huh? Thank you, Trishy. So many sweet people here. Thank you very much, you guys. All right. What else did I write? I write my little Google Notes here. And we know she's going to go back to Idaho. That's a fact. She will be returned to Idaho. And the Maricopa County attorney, Rachel Mitchell, confirmed that if Vallow is convicted in Arizona, she would serve any Arizona sentence concurrently, but would physically return to Idaho to continue serving her existing life without parole sentences there. And the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office also indicated she would be housed in Arizona only until the conclusion of her cases here. And this arrangement reflects the legal principle that jurisdiction imposing the most severe non-parolable sentences, Idaho in this case, generally maintains primary custody. So at whichever way it is, she's going back to Idaho and she's going to live happily ever after, telling all the people around her that she's a goddess and they have to listen to her. Thank you, Trishy. Glad I caught you, Kathy. I've missed you. Been wrapped up in another case that has no end. Glad you're doing well. Well, thank you. We do appreciate you, and I'm so glad you're here. And I'm trying to get back on track, so I should be here as much as I possibly can. I will be. I do have plans to go on vacation for 2 weeks in August, but between now and then, I have a wedding coming up in July, my nephew, some of that. But for the most part, you know, my mom is very unable to get out anymore. I can't take her anywhere for the most part. And so I'm pretty much stuck here. So you got me. Let's see. Congratulations, everyone who received a gifted membership. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Joe Schmo. I appreciate you. You should come on sometime. Come on and talk. Definitely, we can have you come on here. Want to come on next Saturday? That would be great. I would enjoy it. You're very wealth of knowledge with this case. That'd be awesome. Yes, you can catch my next one. Oh, Karen Reed trial. That one is good. I think that starts again. Okay, let's do it next Saturday. Send me your email to my email at leftundoneofficial@gmail.com, and then I can send you the link next week so you can show up. I do it 10:30 Pacific time, if that works for you. That would be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, wealth of knowledge on this case and at the trial. So it'll be fabulous. Koberger hearing and Idaho 4 trial. So I'll just send you the link to StreamYard on, send me an email and then I'll send you the link to next week so you can pop on here with us. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Ruby, right? It'd be a super, super, super great interview person to have on. Super sticker Amber E, thank you. You are fabulous. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, Trishy, Joe would be great to have on, right? I'm excited now. Okay, this is motivating me to keep coming back. I like having guests, good ones. Fabulous. And everything going on in that courtroom, which really makes me happy. I absolutely agree with everyone. Kathy, you're really getting back into the swing of things. And thank you. Thank you. Life sometimes gets in the way of life. You know what I mean? And it's not been easy, but it's calmed down quite a bit. And I plan to be here as much as I can. We will be here Monday night after the verdict comes in. It will be probably about 6:30 Pacific time Monday night. So we can talk about how it all went down on Monday, if there's a verdict or closing arguments or all that stuff. So I will definitely put up a link for that. And then we'll see what happens during the week. I don't know. Do I want to follow the Karen Reed case? Do I? I mean, Ruby keeps saying it's such a circus, but do I want to follow it like closely? Or do I just want to wait for the outcome? I don't know. But I kind of am interested right now because there's such so controversial and there's so much going on with it. And she has such a people on her side for this. Like there's a lot of anger and drama. Yes. Happy Easter, everyone, by the way. Happy Easter. I was raised Greek Orthodox, and a lot of times our Easter is not, they follow the other calendar. So a lot of times they don't fall on the same Sunday, but this year it's falling on the same Sunday. So I was scrolling on TikTok and on Instagram Reels, and they're showing all the Santorini is all in Greece. Easter is the hugest holiday ever. And they put all these candles all over on the whitewashed buildings on the cliffs. And they just light up the whole place with candles on Easter Eve. And it's crazy. So Hopefully we will have a verdict and we can celebrate. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I think before we wrap up, let's see. I do think that the prosecution, they didn't have any big smoking gun, but I think they did a very good job of causing a lot of presenting a lot of circumstantial evidence, and I really think that it is strong enough to convict Lori quickly. So for example, the timing, the digital evidence, the Ned and Nephi, financial and relationship motives, an affair, $1 million life insurance policy, people that Lori spoke directly to and said, yeah, this is what's going on. Laura, and a huge that if you watched the fact, okay, I was going to say this a long time ago and I got sidetracked. The fact that Lori left the house and then when she swung back around, a little more than almost an hour later, and she walked up, she already knew and she didn't act like she was even concerned about what was happening. And then when the detective woman tried to get her out of the van to come give her the death notification, she was like, yeah, I already know. And so that, and the fact that she said, okay, so yeah, say she left and she wasn't there when it happened, but then she turns around and says she was there, and the time Alex called and all the phone calls between them before he called 911, I mean, that alone shows you that there was some plan going on there. Even if it was just the after plan now. Should we say you were there? Should we say you're not there? I think we should say you're there because then you're my witness for self-defense. Okay, let's do it that way. But she ran. Right. Trishy, exactly my point. Yeah. She left the house. She said she saw it happen. If you saw it happen, you call 911. That's what good people do. They pick up the phone. She had plenty of phones in her hand, clearly. She had Charles. She knew the code to get in. She had her phone. And she took off. So, oh, Sylvia, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The super sticker. Thank you. Much appreciated. You guys are so sweet today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. The digital forensics shows Lori and Alex did not call for 44 minutes. Who doesn't call for 44 minutes? I mean, that alone makes them look so guilty. And she maybe could have slid around it if she would have never said she was there. But the fact she said she was there makes it even worse because she didn't call 911. If she could have said, oh no, I left. They were having an argument and I didn't want the kids to see. And so I got my kids in the car and I left and I took JJ to school. And then I come back almost an hour later and there's all these police cars and everything. And I didn't know what was happening. And then I found out that my husband was pushed out by my brother. Blah. Come on, Lori. I mean, you could have wrote a better story. Yeah. Excuse me. They didn't call 911 for 44 to 47 minutes, but they did call each other twice in that time, and Chad called her like 4 times in that time, period, while Charles was laying dead on the floor. Yep. And stopped to buy flip-flops, right, Trisha? Yep, exactly. Concerned about flip-flops, but not calling 911. Well, you know how hot it is? I would have burned my feet. But then you guys said she had shoes on. Maybe it was Tylee that didn't have shoes on, but she got 2 pairs of flip-flops. She wanted to get rid of blood on her feet. What was she wearing? Because I heard some rumor about her dumping some stuff in Summer's husband's business. Now, this is all in the back of my head from a long time ago, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard something that morning she also dumped something in her sister Summer's husband's trash bin behind his office. So did she dump the shoes that she was wearing? Did she have blood on them? and then buy flip-flops for her and Tylee, because Tylee probably was barefoot. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. The delayed 911 call, the quick remarriage, the crime scene evidence contradicting the self-defense claim. Obviously, they shot him already when he was laying on the floor. They, or him, or them, or her. And the jury, just needs to look at all that, put it all together, and that to them, they need to say, yeah, there was an existence of an intentional agreement to commit this murder beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that that's what's going to happen. I really do. I think you put it all together, you lay it all out there, and I think the prosecution did an excellent job of showing that she was motivated and planned it and was a darn fool, made a whole lot of mistakes if she really wanted to show self-defense. And I think that their jury's not stupid. And I think they're going to come up with the right decision and get justice for Charles and send her packing after we get justice for Brandon. And I'm really excited to see Brandon. I hope that Brandon's case does go to trial. I hope that the fact that they could say never mind on it. The Discord link, I can get it. I hope that hold on, I'll get it for you. I just hope that Brandon's case goes to trial, because I really think that I can find it. Invite. I don't know where it went. Left undone. Invite people. Got it. Okay. Copy. I got it. Yes, we have lots of channels in Discord, you guys. We talk about a lot of things. We even talk about TV shows. Actually, I will mention one that I started watching last night. I was like, I'm not getting Paramount. I'm not getting it. I don't want it. I already have enough. Maybe I'll get rid of Peacock and keep Paramount now. But I started watching Happy Face last night. Now, I did listen to her entire podcast years ago, the Happy Face killer, whatever. And I thought it was really interesting when I listened to her, because she was talking about her father was a serial killer and he was a long distance truck driver and blah, blah, blah. So I thought that Happy Face on Paramount was going to be more of a documentary, but it's sort of the base of the story and not exact, because she wasn't a makeup artist from what I remember, and she doesn't work on a TV show, but she had her own podcast. But a lot of Dennis Quaid plays her dad. What is his name? And what is the serial killer's name? Anyway, I got the first 2 episodes down last night, and they're good. So I'm going to keep following that for sure. And then, you guys were saying watch, like, what's that show, the prequel to Yellowstone and stuff. So, but we talk about a lot of things in Discord is my point. We have different channels. We're still, if something comes up on any of those old cases that we were following, we have Vallow Daybell, we have Vallow Daybell documents, we have just true crime cases, Morphew case, Gabby Petito, the missing. If anybody comes up with sees a new missing person case, throw it in there so we can see if we want to follow it. Even Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, we followed that. TV and movie recommendations, Abby and Livy Delphi, Michael Vaughn, Little Monkey, who was never found, Moscow Murders. Anyway, we have a lot of things in there. So you're welcome. Anybody's welcome to come join us in there, please. Linda zoomed in on her walking and we saw shoes on her. You can play it. Lori's a good life. That's what I thought, because I watched it a couple times of them when they brought her in, when she came in Walgreens. I'm like, she has shoes on her feet. I think she has shoes on her feet. Black slides. Mm-hmm. Which one? Let's see. Doo-doo. Yep. 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 Okay. She definitely has shoes on. You guys are all telling me. It's so weird. She's so weird. I just think that if she had shoes on, there was something she was going to do with the shoes she had on, right? So, all right, you guys. Okay, so Joe Schmo, send me an email. The rest of you, you're always welcome to send me emails too if you have anything you want to add or say or tell me to talk about or interested in or cases that you want me to try to follow. You can always send me an email, leftundoneofficial@gmail.com. And then we will be back on Monday to talk about what happened in court and if there's a verdict. And then we'll go from there. And I'm so glad to be back. And I'm so glad that you guys are having me back and you're showing up here. I really appreciate it. We're back to our Saturday lives and as much on the weeknights as I can. And don't forget, if you're a member, and we got some new members today, that we do have members only happy hour. And we had fun last night. It was very casual. We can talk about anything and talk about the cases. So I appreciate you all. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful Easter and stay safe and stay well. And I will see you Monday. Bye, you guys.